Hello students, let's begin a very interesting chapter of chemistry, and the name of the chapter is chemical reactions. And in this chapter we will be dealing with various types of reactions. Also we will be discussing about how to balance these equations. Then we will be talking about corrosion and rancidity. So let's begin with the chapter. So before proceeding with the chapter, think about any kind of change that is taking place in your surroundings. So what kind of change occur in your surroundings? Do you think that respiration, the breathing process and the oxidation of food, is it a change? Do you think that evaporation of water or freezing of water, converting into ice or converting milk into curd or rusting of iron, are these type of examples changes? Do you consider them as changes? Yes, they all are changes, but there are two different categories of changes. I'm sure you have observed those changes and understood those changes in previous classes, but let's reiterate and recapitulate those in order to understand our topic, chemical reactions. So now, as you can see on the screen, there are two types of examples given here, right? In first of example, you can see there is a wood log and we are burning it. And what happens when you burn a wood log? It will convert into an ash, right? A pile of ash is created. Now, I have another example. Here, we have a whole lemon and we are cutting it into slices, right? So, we are slicing the lemon, and what is the product obtained? What is the result of the slicing of the lemons? Obviously, we will get slices of lemon, right? So now the question arises, in which of the type of example you have got a new substance formed? So as you can see that here, initially it was a wood log, right? But what has happened after burning it? It has converted to pile of ash, right? So definitely here in this example, a new substance is formed. Is pile of ash will be called as wood? No, we cannot call it wood. It is different substance. So, it's a completely new substance formed. So, definitely this particular change in which a new substance is formed, what do we categorize it as? We will categorize it as a chemical change, right? And what is happening here? In this particular example, as we can see, initially it was lemon, but even after slicing it, what do we call it? Definitely, it is a lemon only. So, there is no new substance formed. So, when there is no new substance formed, what do we call such type of change, children? We call it physical change, right? So, we have chemical changes and we have physical changes. So, now in this chapter, we are looking forward to understand more examples of chemical changes, and then we will be writing the equations of those chemical changes. So, let's take more examples. So, what is the main criteria to say that this change is a chemical change? What is the criteria in this example? In this example, the wooden log is completely converted to a new substance, which is an ash, right? So, a completely new substance is formed in a chemical reaction or in a chemical change. So, those changes in which new substance is formed, we will call them a chemical change. Let's take more examples. So, now as you can see in this example, children, that there are a lot of bananas, right? And in these bananas, what is the process taking place? There is ripening of fruit taking place, right? So, the banana, it was initially green in color, then the color changed to yellow, then it converted to a little blackish in tinge, right? Because there is ripening of fruit taking place, because there is some chemical reactions or chemical changes taking place in banana. So, the substance is changing continuously. So, it's a chemical change. Let's take more examples. What about this? This is cooking, right? When we cook food, what happens in cooking food or making pizza? In making pizza or in cooking food, actually we are converting the initial raw materials. After heating it, we are converting it to a new substance, right? So definitely a new and a yummy substance is formed. So definitely cooking of food is a chemical change. Now, when we talk about digestion of food, have you seen this particular diagram, children? Yes, this is alimentary canal. And in human alimentary canal, what happens? Digestion of food takes place. Yes. So, in digestion of food, what happens with carbohydrates? Carbohydrates on digestion produce glucose as the main product. So, what is the formula of glucose? It is C6H12O6. So, glucose is the main product here, and if it is formed here, is it a new substance? Definitely it's a new substance. Initially it was a complex substances like carbohydrates, and now the end product of digestion of carbohydrate is a simpler substance, and which is glucose. The formula is C6H12O6. So, definitely it is a chemical change. Now, when we talk about iron, look here, the picture in which you can see that initially it was grey in color, but gradually on exposure to air and moisture, see the color change, right? There is a color change, and even the chemical properties of iron changes when it is exposed to air or moisture. So, what is happening? The color is changing from grey to reddish brown. Is there a new substance formed? Yes, there is a new substance formed. This is definitely iron, right? This is iron. I am writing Fe. But this is not iron. What is it? What is the layer or the coating which has developed on it? This coating, children, is iron oxide. It is Fe2O3. Yes. So, on rusting or on corrosion, what happens? Iron converts into iron 3 oxide. That is iron 3 oxide, a completely new substance formed which is reddish brown in color. Yes. So, is it a chemical change? Can we declare rusting a chemical change? Yes. Why rusting is a chemical change, children? Because a new substance is formed here which is iron 3 oxide. Now, when we look forward to the next example, what is happening here? Look, there is a plant and beautiful sunlight is coming on the plant, and what is happening here? What will plant do with sunlight? It will prepare its own food. So, what is the name of the process, children? It is photosynthesis. So, what is the name of the process, children? The name of the process is photosynthesis. Yes. What is photosynthesis? When plants prepare their own food in the presence of sunlight, where they prepare their food? In chlorophyll, right? So, the process is known as photosynthesis. And what is happening in photosynthesis? Do we get new substance? Yes, because initially plants take carbon dioxide and water as a raw material, and in presence of sunlight, what is formed? A new substance is formed, and that new substance is glucose. Yes. So, there is a production of glucose or there is a synthesis of glucose when photosynthesis takes place. So, do we get a new substance? Yes. So, photosynthesis is also a chemical change. So, if we say that photosynthesis and all those examples that we did right now, they are chemical changes. So, in short, can we declare that whenever there is a new substance formed with completely new properties, we call it a chemical change. Not only that, the nature and the identity of the substances completely change. Initially, for example, we had iron. After rusting, it converted to iron 3 oxide. Initially, we have carbon dioxide and water, but in presence of sunlight, during photosynthesis, it converted to glucose in plants. So, the entire new properties are formed, right? So, the entire nature and identity of the substances change. Rather, I should say the entire compound changes, right? Initially, it was a different substance, and the product or the end material is completely different, right? Now, also, usually it is accompanied by absorption or evolution of heat. In most of the cases, we will see that there is some release of energy or there is absorption of energy during such processes of chemical changes. So, what are chemical changes? Chemical changes occur when there is a new substance or completely different substance formed, right? Now, so can we say that whenever a chemical change occurs, a chemical reaction has taken place? Yes. So, what are chemical reactions? When we can declare that chemical reactions have occurred? Whenever a chemical change will take place, a chemical reaction will occur, right? Because chemical reaction is just a process where chemical change is taking place. When new material is being formed, that's a chemical change or chemical reaction. So, can we say the synonym of chemical change is chemical reaction? Yes, we can say that. So, all these combustion, rusting of iron, digestion, photosynthesis and many more reactions in which new substances formed, they all are chemical changes, and in all those chemical changes, we can say that they are chemical reactions. And not only that, now the question arises in our mind that what are chemical reactions? How can we say that which product will be formed during a chemical reaction and what kind of changes actually occur during chemical reactions? So, we will be looking forward for all those answers in various activities further. Thank you.